G'day, Starlo here. We all love catching high-quality A-grade table fish to take home and eat. Things like the delicious and highly prized King George whiting of our southern waters, which are rightly regarded by many people as one of the tastiest fish in the sea. And look at that. I'm wrapped. This status is reflected by their eye-watering price at the seafood market too. A catch of big whiting like this is a real prize and it deserves to be valued and treated with respect. But the fact is, we don't always catch these premium A-grade species. A lot of the times it's the B and even C-grade varieties that end up on our lines.
That is so disappointing.
Well, that's what you could see.
Here you go.
Things like blue-throated wrasse or parrotfish.
Very chunky blue throat. Not what I was chasing.
Everywhere we fish, we're likely to encounter these second-string table fish. They're sweet.
They're sweet. Lucky me. Look, the sweepstakes.
Look what he took though. Oh, you've got it on both hooks, haven't you?
Well, because I said it caught one on the line.
Things like sweep, which actually aren't bad to eat if treated properly.
I got him through the side of the head.
You never know what'll come up next. Red rock cod.
I'm getting all the bonus ones. He went for the
Fish
bites as well.
Red rock cod or scorpion fish are another surprisingly tasty catch that's often simply discarded by anglers who've never tried it. Oh, seriously? Another common throwback is the southern Maori wrasse or butcher's prick. Look at my butchers. And also the crimson-banded wrasse, a cousin of the bluethroat. But today I'm going to show you a simple way to cook some of these B-listers that might change your attitudes towards them. I've chosen two common wrasse, a crimson-banded and a southern Maori or butchers, and I'm going to steam them and add some fresh ginger and spring onions or scallions, often referred to as shallots here in Australia. I begin by finely slicing and chopping a generous section of peeled ginger. There's various specialised tools that you can use for doing this job, but I'm happy enough to simply do it with my knife, making sure to cut the ginger into matchstick thick strips and then cross-cut those to make even smaller pieces. Don't be shy, give yourself a generous amount of cut up ginger for this recipe. That's about right. Next, I slice up the scallions or spring onions. Again, don't scrimp on this relatively cheap vegetable. Give yourself a good bunch to work with and slice it fairly finely, including both the white lower stems and the green upper stalks or leaves. In addition to the ginger and the spring onions, I'll need some light soy sauce. The brand isn't really important, but be sure to choose the light stuff rather than a thick or heavy variety. Oh, and it's also nice, but certainly not essential, to have some ordinary finely ground white pepper on hand. This is actually used in a lot of Asian recipes. It adds a lovely flavour. I'll be using some oil for this cooking method too, and I prefer one of the high smoke point oils such as rice bran, peanut or grapeseed oil, but you could certainly use canola or vegetable oil. Make sure the fish are thoroughly and completely scaled, gutted and gilled, and then score them on both sides by slicing down almost to the backbone with your knife, just like I'm doing here. This will really help the fish to cook through, and it's especially important with thicker bodied fish like this crimson banded wrasse. I do exactly the same with the Maori or butchers, even though it's not as thick and it won't take as long to cook. We'll address that issue in a minute. For now, let's get it scored or sliced on both flanks. Now, both of these fish are just a bit too long for my steamer basket, so I'm going to trim their tails with a pair of kitchen shears to reduce their overall length. I guess I could cut the heads off, but it'd be a shame to lose those fleshy cheeks and all the other tasty bits in the head. I've placed some uncut spring onion stems and a couple of larger chunks of ginger in my steamer basket to separate the fish from the bamboo slats. This will stop their skin from sticking and add flavour. In goes the larger fish, and it only just fits even with the tail trimmed. The water's already boiling hard in the pot underneath. On goes the lid and I let the bigger fish steam for only about 4 or 5 minutes. Meanwhile, I've added half a cup or so of oil to a pot and I'll be bringing that to a high heat, eventually enough so that it just starts to smoke. After that 4 or 5 minutes, I add the smaller fish to the steamer and put the lid back on. Steaming doesn't really take too long, and you can test if the fish are properly cooked right through by stabbing them with a fork. They're just about done, maybe another minute, but don't overdo it. I've lifted the steamer basket off the heat with oven mitts and placed it on a metal tray. And on goes all that lovely chopped spring onion, liberally covering both fish. Then the ginger, again spreading it out evenly across both of the fish. There we go. I'll turn that exhaust fan off now. And I carefully pour the very hot oil over the fish. This is what transfers the scallion and ginger flavours to the fish. I can't tell you how good it's already starting to smell. Now, I could have splashed some of that light soy on before pouring on the oil, but I can also do it now. And the same goes for the white pepper. It's really up to you whether you do it before or after. Alright, let's add a little bit more soy. Remember, the fish is still hot and it's actually still cooking at this stage, which is why it's important not to overdo it in the first place. And that's really about it. Asian style steamed wrasse with ginger and scallions or spring onions. It flakes easily off the bone and it's surprisingly delicious. Serve it with rice or steamed Asian greens, whatever you like. Yum. And of course, it works with many different species of fish, and not just the B graders either. If you've enjoyed this quick, easy recipe or any of my other catch and cook videos, please give me a thumbs up down below and consider subscribing to my channel. Also, be sure to watch these other 2 videos. And until next time, tight lines and bon appetit.